What's going on, guys? This is Moonchild of Do No Way, and today we're ranking every strategist ability in Marvel Rivals. It's going to come as no surprise that support players have some of the most powerful tools in their arsenal, but not all are created equal. We're going to be ranking these from worst to most impactful, and to kick off our list, let's start with number 33, Cloak and Dagger's Lights and Shadows Embrace. These two share the same spot on the list because one turns you into Cloak and the other turns you into Dagger. Yippee, I guess. Granted, they do give you access to a bunch of other abilities, but in a vacuum, all they really do is change your form. Since I don't care about that, and neither do you, we're gonna give this thing the middle finger and keep it pushing. Number 32, Rocket Raccoon's Flying Ace. Hold your jump button and gently glide to the ground. Does that sound boring as hell? That's because it kinda is. This can help you be elusive, which is cool and all, but if you look at it in isolation, it's not really that impressive. You see it and go, neat, you know? It'd be one thing if it was flying, but this is just falling with style. Number 31, Loki's Backstab. 50% more melee power when you land a back shot on the enemy. That might sound like a lot, but it's actually only 45 damage, which is not really that good at all. Your clones can also perform this maneuver, which again, is not really that great, so we're just gonna file this one somewhere between situational and who gives a shit. Number 30, the Invisible Woman's Veiled Step and Covert Advance. I'm grouping these two together because one is the ability to be invisible in the first place, and the other is the passive 20 health per second you get while you're in the invis state. Without an ally nearby to throw the Guardian Shield on, this is Sue's only way to heal herself. The only problem with that is if you catch even a single point of damage, you're gonna show up faster than a white lady that just heard pumpkin spice is back at Starbucks. That being said, it's still pretty good, even if it doesn't 100% save you a lot of the times you wish it would. Number 29, Luna Snow's Smooth Skate. Strap banana peels to your feet and quick slide all over the goddamn place. How quick we talking? 60% faster than normal to be exact, which means it's a lot fucking faster than her base movement speed. Because it can always be activated with no cooldowns or resource meter, this is one of the best movement buffs in the entire game, and it gets bonus points for looking and sounding like you're actually ice skating. Number 28, Rocket Raccoon's Wild Crawl. Run along the wall at 10 meters per second, which is an 80% increase from the 6 meters a second you normally move. Great for getting back to the fight faster, but nobody ever thinks about that when they're taking the walk of shame over to their team. When you combine this with Flying Ace, Rocket becomes even more difficult to kill, and staying alive is always better than the alternative. Number 27, Sue Storm's Psionic Vortex. Throw out a big-ass donut that pulls things to the center, and hurts more the longer they stand in it. The damage is respectable at 35 DPS, and the fact that you can choose to detonate it in the air means you've got an easy way to make Tony Stark's life a living hell. Using it against a group of enemies can net you a bunch of ult charge pretty quickly, so overall I'd say this thing is pretty decent. Number 26, Rocket's Jetpack Dash. Yeet yourself forward with a fart blast of power. You get 2 charges with a 6-second cooldown, and you go forward 10 meters each time. As far as movement abilities go, this is the white bread and mayonnaise equivalent, but it's got a combo that adds a slice of cheese to that sorry excuse for a lunch. While you use this while climbing up a wall, you go way farther, and that can help you escape basically anything. You just run around like a maniac, and most of the time you're gonna get away with it, and that really pisses people off. Number 25, Luna Snow's Cryo Heart. Any amount of free healing is good, and the fact that you get 30 HP for 3 seconds after using an ability means you can keep yourself alive while your other healer is doing fuck all to help. Maybe they're busy healing the tanks, perhaps they're Adam Warlock and their E is on cooldown, or maybe your second support is a Jeff who's off on a grand adventure in the enemy backline. Either way, this can help you get healed up when you need it. It's certainly not the GOAT, but it's nothing to scoff at either. Number 24, Cloak and Dagger's Light Explosion. Imagine if your drunk idiot friend shined a flashlight directly in your eyes, and for some reason, you kinda liked it. That's basically what's going on here. The healing wall goes 25 meters, heals everything it touches for 45 damage, and increases the healing they take by 15% for 4 seconds. Perfect for the times when that same idiot friend jumps straight into the enemy team without turning around to see if his squad went with him. And all that for a 12-second cooldown? Not bad. Number 23, Loki's Devious Exchange. Snap your fingers and swap places with one of your clones. Great for getting yourself out of danger, reaching high ground positions, closing the gap on targets that are trying to escape, or my personal favorite, dipping out at the end of a team fight and watching whoever didn't fall back die a horrible, painful death. This is a great ability for the God of Mischief, and it's balanced by a pretty big drawback. Every now and then, you'll try and teleport to the other side of the map, and end up being taken behind you, straight into maximum danger, and you'll promptly eat shit for it. Why does this happen? I've often asked myself the same thing. All in all, I'd say Devious Exchange is great when it works, and pretty goddamn useless when it doesn't. Number 22, Adam Warlock's Avatar Lifestream. This ability is a fancy way of saying the shittiest heal in Marvel Rivals. While the upfront healing is actually pretty good for your teammates at 95 health, the 35 HP you get yourself might as well be accompanied by a swift kick in the balls. Tack on the fact that it has a 6-second cooldown and only 2 charges, and that punt to the testes just got a bonus nipple twist and a gut check for added measure. Seriously, this is the Adam Warlock equivalent of pissing on your team and telling them it's raining. It does bounce twice though, which coincidentally lines up with the number of times your teammates' heads bounce off the floor when they drop dead from the res. It works okay in certain situations, like right after he pops ult, but aside from that, my brother in Christ, I wouldn't wipe my ass with this thing. Number 21, Mantis's Nature's Favor. This passive does a lot of work, and no one's mad about it. When you consume a leaf by using an ability, you start healing 12.5 hit points for the next 8 seconds. That's 100 free HP that you just sprouted out of nowhere. If you're weaving in buttons between shots, then you're basically always healing yourself, which no other character in the game gets to do so freely. Not even Wolverine, the guy whose entire personality boils down to stab stuff and live. Nature's Favor also has a passive movement speed buff when you've been out of combat for 3 seconds, but after a round of nerfs, it's smaller than a nutsack in the winter, so I think we're safe to move on. Number 20, Luna Snows Share the Stage. Put a snowflake on someone and give them 35% of the healing you do, no matter how far away they are. Perfect for that one teammate that always complains about needing a heal, while they're off on the other side of the map somewhere doing God knows what. Toss it on a flanker and just forget they ever existed. Pretty good overall. Number 19, Cloak and Dagger's Dagger Storm. Chuck an LED light strip and make a laser light show of healing over time. Enemy team diving you? Throw some glitter on the floor. Got a tank with a death wish? Chuck this and help save him from himself. And what if you don't feel like playing cover? My boy, we don't even know what cover is. 55 healing per second for 6 seconds is pretty damn good. The fact that it can hit your whole team is pretty damn good. But being able to use this on yourself means you can hold on to it till you really need it and let your primary fire do the work for everyone else. Number 18, Mantis's Natural Anger. Burn a leaf and give yourself a 12% damage buff for 8 seconds. This is pretty good if you're a head clicker extraordinaire. Instead of killing a Luna Snow in 2 headshots, 2 bodies, now you can take her out with only 2 headshots and 1 body. And because you're low-key cracked, making yourself more lethal is always a solid choice. Landing critical hits is how you get your leaves back anyway, so why not give them a little extra stopping power? Number 17, Luna Snow's Absolute Zero. Yell out Hadouken and turn some poor schmuck into a popsicle. Freezing someone in place for 2.7 seconds is as great as it sounds on paper. Pretty much anyone that looks at you funny is a good target for this ability, plus you get half a second of free time to damage them as much as you want without breaking the ice. The CC isn't as long as Mantis's, but this thing gets the job done. Number 16, Mantis's Spore Slumber. Throw some purple stuff at the floor and stop the enemy in their tracks. This is a solid way to put down a diver that's coming for your neck, and once they're stunned, if you're fast enough, you can hit him in the head a few times to snag the kill. Alternatively, there's always the stun 'em and run 'em method, where you leave them there looking stupid so they can think about what they've done. The 10 damage it deals is laughable, let's be real, but the 3.5 second duration is an annoyingly long time when you're on the receiving end of it. The downside is, if you miss, you've got 15 seconds of being more vulnerable than a skinny guy in a prison shower. Number 15, Loki's Deception. Summon a clone, make yourself invisible, and get some healing over time all in one shot. That's a lot of bang for your buck for a single button press, but it has its limitations. Taking damage or any hostile action will make you visible again, which means if you time this wrong, you can end up in just as much danger as you were before you pressed it. That being said, 20 health per second for as long as you stay invisible is pretty solid, but the funniest way to use it is to fool your enemies into wasting their time fighting a mannequin while you fuck off back to the safety of your team. The substitution jutsu strikes again. Number 14, Mantis's Allied Inspiration. Consume a leaf and give a buddy 12% more damage for 8 seconds. Not exactly the flashiest ability, it does make a difference though. This can change breakpoints for a lot of characters and help your team secure a few kills they wouldn't otherwise have gotten. It's not completely going to make up for your friend's terrible aim, but every little bit helps, right? Number 13, Adam Warlock's Regenerative Cocoon. Bring yourself back to life once every 105 seconds. If you're a good player, chances are you're not making that many mistakes anyway, so on the rare occasion you find yourself caught off guard, take a get-out-of-jail-free card and forget the whole thing ever happened. Other supports wish their passives were this nasty. The fact that you get to choose your res location is like the chef's kiss. It's amazing, and even I'm not too big of an Adam Warlock hater to admit it. Number 12, Jeff the Landshark's Hide and Seek. Jeff can be such a wily little bastard, can he? Jesus Christ, just when you think you've got him dead to rights, he wiggles up a goddamn wall, and bam, he's back to full health again. If that kind of thing makes you want to break a keyboard, this is where you should place the blame. Nothing says eat my wet ass like doing a belly flop and finding a 60% movement speed and 35 health per second under the floor. This is part of the wombo combo that makes Jeff so hard to kill. Like, dude, Adam Warlock would trade his left golden nugget for a heal that strong. Number 11, Sue Storm's Guardian Shield. An oversized contact lens that heals your team and soaks up damage. This thing is nutty. Place it on an ally and give them 50 health per second. But not just for them, for literally everyone. All you gotta do is stand next to it. The barrier itself absorbs the first 300 damage you throw at it, and if all that weren't enough, you can even put it in the sky on flyers. This is one of the most flexible, value-pumped abilities in the game, and if she could just use it on herself, it would legitimately be perfect. Number 10, Cloak and Dagger's Dark Teleportation. Take you and all your buddies on a magic carpet ride and literally gain the ability to fly. With a 2-second duration, it's a pretty short ride, but being able to phase out of existence is nothing to be trifled with. Spider-Man ult about to kill you? Disappear like a fart in the wind. Iron Man getting ready to maximum pulse your whole team? How about a frosty glass of go fuck yourself? This can save you from anything in the game for the full 2 seconds because you can't be interacted with at all. Nothing can hit you, you can't be healed, you just piss off into the sky somewhere. Your allies can break their invisibility if they shoot, which sucks, but if you save a man from drowning and he jumps back into the ocean, what happens next isn't really on you, is it? Number 9, Luna Snow's Ice Arts. Strike a fancy pose and get ready to pop off. Each icicle heals your squad for 75 health and smacks enemies in the way for 50 damage a shot. The ability to cleave through both teams is stupidly good, and when everyone's fighting in a choke or down a long hallway, this thing is an ult charging machine. The hitbox is also pretty generous, which makes it easy to take out those hard to hit targets. Whether it's a Spider-Man in the sky or a Rocket Raccoon trying to get away, just send it in their direction and watch the health bars disappear. This is one of the best abilities in the game, and who else but a famous musician could give 11 people the clap at the same time? Number 8, Jeff the Landshark's Healing Bubble. An insane ability and also one of the few speed boosts that currently exist in Marvel Rivals. I'm serious, bro, these things are like a fucking jackalope in terms of rarity. Like, you see them less often than those family members you never talk to. You know the ones. Speed boosts in general are pretty goated, and this one gives you a fat 60% for 4 seconds. That pairs perfectly with Groot and his slow ant-looking ass, but also works wonders for getting heroes like Hulk into melee range, helping the Punisher get more value out of his ult, and even just for Jeff himself when stuff starts looking scary. It also heals for 85 damage and boosts the healing you take by 15% for the duration. If you're wondering why you can never kill this little blue asshole, this is a big part of that reason, and overall, it's just a beast of a skill. Number 7, Cloak and Dagger's Terror Cape. The spookier, sexier portable wall that puts in crazy work. This thing is a goddamn menace. 55 damage that goes out 25 meters in front of you, and everything it hits is blind for a second and a half. And not like, we had one too many beers, blurry vision blind. You can't see shit when this hits you. That alone would have been enough to be considered a great ability, but it's not stopping there. Everything it touches takes 28% more damage for 3 seconds, and that is why it's rated so highly. You and your team can shred anything with this, so when the enemy's whole squad comes out to play, show them the fuzzy blanket and watch them all fall over. Number 6, the Invisible Woman's Force Physics. Push or pull your foes into a spot they definitely don't want to be in. As far as movement control goes, this is probably the best skill in the game. You can mess up a Wolverine's dive when they try to kidnap your tank, pull people into your ultimate to cut off line of sight from their healers, or just send someone flying off the side of the goddamn map. This is the only support skill that has one-shot potential, and that single use case is the reason it's rated so highly in this list. Number 5, Loki's Doppelganger. Imagine being able to double your output with the click of a button. Now imagine being able to triple your output. That's how good this is. The clones themselves have the same 250 hit points that you do, and they'll mimic your primary fire and healing runes to help keep your team alive and lay the hurt on the enemy. On top of that, you can make them up to 30 meters away, which lets you get in line of sight on places you might otherwise be unable to reach. It's the Loki equivalent of the Spider-Man meme, but all 3 of them are legitimately you. Number 4, Adam Warlock's Soul Bond. Share health with nearby teammates and absorb crazy amounts of damage in the process. This ability is one of the strongest in the entire game, but it also has more rules than your overbearing ex during peak mental breakdown season. It works up to 15 meters out, and allies that get it need to stay in that 15 meters or the bond breaks. It can absorb up to 250 HP of pain, which sounds great on paper, until you realize that's like 1 Hawkeye headshot or 2 Hela headshots and then it's donezo. That means it's best used to absorb larger hits like a Magneto meatball, but anything stronger than that is probably gonna kill you anyway. For the Adam Warlock that cast it, if you reach 0 hit points, you still end up dead, but allies within it that go all the way down will just reduce his health to 1. I don't know what kind of situations you're getting in where you get to escape with a bee's dick worth of health left, but I'm guessing it's not too many, so if the bond breaks from damage, there's a good chance you're going down with the ship. However, because of how large your effective health pool gets when you press the button, it's still a top tier skill, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Number 3, Jeff's oblivious cuteness. Imagine being so fucking dumb you didn't even know you just got shot in the face. Like, wrap your head around that for a second. That's exactly what we're working with here, dude. Jeff gets a 50% damage reduction from critical hits, and that is insanely valuable. Like, legitimately the best passive ability among all supports, and maybe even the entire game. Literally any character would give up any ability to have it. It's that good. And begrudgingly, I will admit he's a pretty cute shark. Number 2, Rocket's BRB beacon. What can I say about this oversized toaster? You throw it somewhere isolated, and it vomits up blue and orange crap like it robbed a Walgreens of their entire stock of Epicac. The orange ones that give 25 armor are cool, I guess. I mean, the extra health is never bad, but pretty much any hero in the game can fart in your general direction and take that away. The blue ones that give the jump boost can come in handy for some characters in certain situations, but let's be real, dude. The actual use for them is launching you into the sky like a fucking rocket while you go wee in the spawn room. The BRB beacon's real strength is obviously resurrecting a teammate, which is insanely good value and the sole reason why it's so high on the list. Sometimes it brings back someone so you can keep engaging in a 6v6. Once in a blue moon, it'll bring back that one guy you needed to win the fight. And every now and then, some chuckle nut will come upon it, blow it the hell up, and then you're staring at a 45-second cooldown. We finally made it. Number 1, the best support skill in all of Marvel Rivals is none other than Loki's regeneration domain. Plop a green turd on the floor and give the middle finger to just about anything in the game. A fat 100 health per second is already approaching the ultimates in terms of power, but that's not even all it does. 30% of the damage you take while standing in the field is also converted into healing, and the icing on the holy shit cake is that you can drop up to 3 of these at once, depending on where your clones are located. This is great for saving your overly ambitious tanks and keeping your backline safe at the same time. Got an enemy Psylocke that just press Q on your head? Hit the button and watch her hopes and dreams go up in smoke. It also cleanses the culling debuff given by Winter Soldier's ult. No more agains for you, buckaroo. I don't think there's any arguing the power of this ability. The thing is S tier, no matter how you slice it. If you enjoyed this, remember to catch our live shows weekday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube, links in the description. I am Moonchild of Do No Way, and I will see you in the next video.